So I'm just gonna mute this video so we don't get like copyright striked or anything by Hoyoverse. But anyway, as you can see here, when she is casting her out, other than like the amazing animations, this doggo is not even weak to quantum, but you can see that she pierces and breaks the doggo immediately. Okay, now that we have seen that, although it's not like the entirety of a kit, she still has a lot of other stuff like follow-up attacker and whatnot. But I want to really emphasize why colorless breaking is so different. And apologies if any of you who are like from UK or US, I know some of you spell it with a U, some of you don't spell it with a U. I'm just following whatever's on this card, so just don't blame me for the spelling errors. But anyway, what I want to say is, if you are a new player joining in version 1.6 for the first time because you are introduced to like the new 2.0, or maybe you don't even have Zealer and you were thinking of picking a character like this up, I think XUEYI is a really good example of a character that is super good as a 4-star because she really brings in the benefit of what a lot of people were talking about when, for example, Silverwolf first came into the game. You are able to drop like weaknesses into the enemies, and any DPS that you choose, be it Jingyuan or whether you chose Zealer, that one element basically can like carry your whole account all the way because you can just drop in weaknesses, quantum deals with it very well if you are, for example, running a mono quantum team. And till today, still a lot of you out there I know play a mono quantum team. I'm not saying that XUEYI power creeps Silverwolf. In fact, they complement each other as well because she drops weaknesses, she's also able to break them, she can do more damage being of the same quantum element and benefiting from a lot of her rest threat and being able to like benefit from the Genius of Brilliant Stars quantum set and stuff like that. I'm not saying anything of that, so don't get me wrong. I'm just saying that for those of you who don't have Silverwolf, this character is like super efficient to build, especially if you're missing any character from the quantum set. So let's say you don't have your quantum build yet, maybe you don't have Tincture very well built, maybe you just don't like her playstyle, or you didn't pull for Zealer maybe because you're a husbando lover, you like don't pull for waifus that much. Although she's I guess a waifu so to speak, but the fact that she's so efficient means that you can build her even as a new player and put her into regardless of any team and she will still do something. If let's say you don't really care about the damage, you're just looking for break effect, you can even build her for full energy restoration, like just to focus on her out, because she still has a lot of things, for example like her follow-up attacks that can still trigger as long as your teammates are continuously breaking the enemy weaknesses. This means she works really great from a main DPS role because currently if you think about it, the banner character that we have Tingyuan also. So if you have Tingyuan, you have her on the same team, you can just slap them on in one team and then you put like Ronmei in your second team. So she buffs her, for example, you buff with the out, she colorless breaks the enemy with, especially after getting buff from Tingyuan, you can work as a hyper carry kind of XUEYI. In the meantime, if you're a new player, don't have that much DPS, allowing you to save up a lot more resources to build in, for example, your Ronmeis, your other characters that you really love, like your Doctor Ratios, because now he's free, you can even play like a Doctor Ratio Ronmei in your second half and then have this team in the first half, for example, and maybe add a few more DPS sustain here and there. We'll talk about team comps for her in the next video that I'll be doing, but first I want to really explain really to you guys why colorless breakers are so good, and I hope they introduce more of this. It just makes the game so much more efficient for new players. One of the struggles of gacha games is when your main crew, like the guys who started from very beginning, some of you who are watching the channel, and thank you guys for supporting us by subscribing and watching our videos too, and especially over the long period of time, like 6 months, 7 months, new players that join in will feel that huge gap between like the front runners who most content creators will create content for, and then your free to play or new joiners will just be totally left behind. XUEYI absolutely breaks the efficiency barrier. If we had her from the start, I tell you, Hoyoverse wouldn't sell as many banners as they would have. But now, if you're a free-to-play player, please make sure you build this. And I know not a lot of guides, not only just free-to-play, but if you are a new player and you don't have many DPS, this character is worth it to build. I will do more guides on her because I think she's a godsend for any new player that is joining in version 1.6 and beyond. You want to save your pools, right? You don't want to pull a 5-star DPS because maybe you like a future character, maybe you like a Kafka team, you want to complete it. This character is super good. Now, we talked enough about colorless breaking and how it increases the efficiency because you don't want to build other elements. Other things that I want to talk about also is her follow-up attack. She's a character that is able to gain stacks, as we saw in like the video live stream as well. Once she gains a set number of stacks, if any of your teammates like inflict damage to the enemy weaknesses, she can launch follow-up attacks, which means that she can play into teams, for example, like Topaz teams. You can even play into like, for example, his team's Doctor Ratio, because they all follow attacks. You can like farm the follow-up attack buffing set and stuff like that, which also allows you to eventually expand into follow-up if you want elation in the simulated universe and stuff like that, giving her also a varied style instead of just being a DPS focus, which is what I really like about this character. She's not a simple DPS, destruction DPS like, for example, a character like Jingliu as well as Imbibitor Lune, which a lot of us might be used to already because they need to do the biggest numbers, and I don't want you to think about that, which is the next point I want to talk about is not damage. Okay, which brings me to the point on like the next point I want to talk about, which is not damage. What do I mean by not damage is I don't want people playing this character to focus on damage of the unit. When she goes live, everyone will be like, oh, this damage is like, she's doing 10k, my Jingliu does 200 billion damage, that's way more. But her objective in your roster, remember, is not about doing the largest PP number. She does carry your account temporarily. For example, a lot of us like had Dan Heng in the beginning, where we were still trying to like save resources, build better characters, and slowly get our account there. She's gonna be like that, just that she fulfills any single element that you need. You can slot her in either half based on the elemental composition of the enemies in the rotations that might come out. At the same time, you can use all these excess resources to find better DPS. So don't think of her as a DPS. She can eventually switch over to an energy restoration kind of build, focusing on her ult. She can even focus on a follow-up attacking kind of build or a breaking kind of build where she builds break effect, because Quantum has a pretty decent break effect as well. So she has very good amounts of versatility, and I don't want people to be like boxed in because of Jingliu as well as Imbibitor Lune to focus on just one thing. Think of her in a similar fashion to Blade, who is not the best main DPS, but he's really an excellent sub DPS kind of thing, and I think she fulfills that role too. And that is my personal opinion of this character. If you want to know my thoughts about team building for this character, do check out the next video, which I'll be putting up tomorrow, or depending on when you're watching this video, it's already up on the channel. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you appreciate me covering broadly on the channel and not just like focusing on the one character, do give me a like, subscribe. We do this every single patch. And thank you guys so much for watching. Hope to see you in the next video.